Welcome, everyone. Welcome to the meeting tonight, Tuesday, June 3rd. Yeah, don't go too far. I don't have anything in front of me. Go back down. There. Oh, thank you. We are by meeting by acknowledging that we are gathered on the traditional, ancestral, and unceded territories of the Inca, Kappa, and the Silt. Adoption of minutes, 2.1, Committee of the Whole meeting minutes, March 4th, 2026. Recommendation that the minutes, 2025, sorry, don't have my glasses on. That minutes of the Committee of the Whole meeting held on March 4th, 2025 be adopted. Well, I've got two that says they have, Councillor Baxter, Councillor Hogan. And it's going to be an easy pass because Wendy hasn't read them. So all those, any errors or omissions? All those in favor? Opposed? Carried. General matters, destination, nothing, unfinished business, nothing, new business, downtown revitalization walking tour. Council will conduct a walking tour of the downtown core as part of the meeting. And recommendation that council receive the May 29, 2025 report of the CAO entitled City Center Improvement and Placemaking for Information. Councillor Baxter, Councillor Petrosi, any questions on that? All those in favor? CAO.
I wanted to start our presentation tonight with a bit of a preamble. As part of our rescope of much of our economic development funding that was outstanding from 2018 onward, we are doing now just starting in one of our projects, which is the placemaking project. So placemaking is really about making public spaces be more attractive for public use and using sort of the idea of who we are as an organization or as a community, I should say, to inform that placemaking and to figure out how we want to present for our community members, as well as people who might be interested in investing here or people who might want to come visit. So we're approaching it sort of from, this is the very early stages. This is the first real discussion we're having about it. And we thought that this would be a good time for council to start generating some ideas. Ultimately, the goal will be is to develop to engage a consultant, develop a few conceptual potential drawings that will then come back to council for some tweaking, and then hopefully we'll be able to go to the fall open house for some community input on how they see the city presenting itself in the downtown core and Spirit Square in particular. So this is the very, very beginning stages. Just some information gathering, some idea generation. We're kind of approaching it from two perspectives. So Kim will present to you some things about signage. We had in 2016 a wayfinding signage strategy that was adopted. And so Kim's done some work to a little bit update that. And we've also will be approaching it from a streetscaping in particular, because that is something that we can control because those are our assets versus, you know, getting people to do a facade development initiative where that requires buy-in. But I think some of you sat through the SILGA presentation and you might have seen something at the economic development presentation at the conference around, you know, if we invest, hopefully business owners, building owners will also invest in upgrading their building, the facades of their buildings. So there's a lot of stuff in the economic development plan. There is a 2008 downtown revitalization plan that talks about particularly that the block of Quilchena from Vote to, thank you, Vote to Garcia, as being sort of the starting point of this kind of work, you know, from making it a pedestrian area to making it a one-way to making it more of a gathering space. So there's a lot of stuff that's been in a variety of plans. And I think this is an opportunity, because we have this funding right now, to really kind of dig into what we want that plan to look like and develop a timeline and budget for implementing something, you know, bringing Spirit Square and some of those architectural design components into the rest of the downtown area. As well as some of the same things that you see in Spirit Square are actually on the Vote Street Bridge that's on this side, not the new Vote Street Bridge, but the second street Vote Street Bridge. So that's very similar kind of posts and lanterns and things like that. So kind of starting to get that consistency. So Kim's going to talk to you about a little bit about the wayfinding signage, which we'll see lots of as we go, and some ideas we have around how to upgrade it, and some issues we've seen with some of it. And again, this is very preliminary. She's not satisfied with all of her documents because she doesn't have all the things she wants in it. But I felt like it was important to start bringing it to you before she puts too much more into it, to see if we're on the right path. So I'll hand it over to Kim.
Thanks. Okay. All right. So the first page. All right. So the first page, this is a basic.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Thank you.
Thank you. I thought you were using the other one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Okay, so yeah, so this is a 2016 wayfinding signage strategy. So we these are the elements that were based on it. So originally the design was based a whole lot on the wood lumber elements and the metal mining kind of background elements, and the wood was like kind of forestry elements. And you see down at the bottom, these graphics down at the bottom are actually wood logs. So kind of very much based on the forestry industry. So we need to make some updates to this, but we kind of want to maintain the same style and theme, but just with some minor updates. I'll just go through. So using the inspiration of the angled graphic with the sun, with the wood pillars, we decided to just take off on that. But instead of having logs at the bottom representing the forestry industry, we'd have like river rock. So it'd be a little bit more timeless and not so tied to one particular industry sector. But we'd keep with the wood in terms of a very earthy element, and have our tagline. The wood before is like a cedar, but I'd like to change it from a red cedar to a yellow cedar, so it more closely resembles the gold in our logo. We talked about adding some sort of indigenous element to the sun logo. I don't know what that's going to look like yet. I just threw out two kind of ideas just to kind of represent the idea. This is I have not engaged an artist yet to help me with that, creating what that will look like. So this is kind of just a placeholder just to give you the idea of it.
And you'll see also on those ones, including some sort of welcome in the back and so.
Yeah, so I was thinking as well that so you'll see here, I'm just going to go back to this page here again. So everything's at an angle, so it's kind of represents the angles that we have already in all of our other branding documents. I've added a little copper top to kind of protect the wood underneath. Also, I was thinking that this could have a solar powered to light up welcome to Merritt. In fact, in that, for that matter, this doesn't actually have to be made out of wood. It could be composite or even an image that the whole sign is backlit. That's a possibility to explore.
Yeah, typically there's lots of possibilities.
So, but just kind of generally keeping with the theme, so that we try and have like all the entry signs kind of mimic the same kind of style that was established in the 2016 wayfinding strategy. And then you'll see the next one here. The entry on vote is to try and again kind of tie in the theme a bit. I want to play with the design a little bit more, but again, that if you notice we've got river rock on those lit logs at the bottom, so that kind of ties it all in. I would keep the logs and just change the header piece. And this, again, so also all these major place headers like the Rotary Park, so those would also have the same kind of style. And if you notice, I also included some verbiage here that in the Income or whatever, and Tillich's language, but this is just, this is not the right verbiage. I need to engage with someone to get the right verbiage for that and maybe flourish under the sun.
So we would work with Elders Council and NBIT in particular to try and get some of that appropriate language in their messaging.
Yeah, so right now the words there are just kind of to give the idea of it, not those are the words to use. So, and then, you know, like looking at Vote Park, for example, Vote Park has a sign kind of like this Rotary Park one, and it also has this big dog park thing, but really we just need one big sign that says this is Vote Park with an off-leash dog park. And then so we don't need that extra large sign, but we can still use that signage in another location. I would reserve those signs for wayfinding. I'll show you in a minute, but anything to do with the rules and stuff doesn't need to be big and major. It can just be like signage on the fence. So that we reserve the large impression for the name of the city.
And I think it's really important to, sorry to interrupt, is we have two or three different styles of signs for those larger facilities like our parks. So there's not a lot of consistency, and that's what we're trying to kind of correct this, is to get something substantive with some consistency.
So again, I haven't even on these signage on the fences, I haven't figured out exactly how I want that to be. So it's kind of a work in progress. So this here sign here is the youth park. Again, I'd like to reserve these big signs for maps and other major wayfinding. It's large and it grabs your attention, so you want us to go see what's on it. And this particular sign is just park rules, so that's kind of overkill for just park rules. So one option we could do if we have a major sign, like this is Central Park, and then a ways away we want to replicate the same kind of look and feel, we can do a cheaper level of the sign, but in the same kind of style.
Cheaper is less looking awesome stuff.
Still awesome, but not as expensive. Yeah. So then when we get to the sports complex or civic complex or city square or whatever we end up calling it, this would be trying to tie in all of our facilities into one. I haven't updated this design yet, but I want to put like arrows, like go this way for the arena or go that way for the pool. Also Cynthia's idea was to actually have these kind of removable if we need to like change the name from Nicola Valley Memorial Arena to whatever naming rights arena it happens to be. I have a couple of locations here that are for the signage, but by no means is that the set in stone or anything. I'm just throwing some ideas out there what could be. Naming rights. So again, these are areas where maybe you could put signage. So naming rights on that on the windows of this tower, which I understand might be replaced at some point, or no. Okay. Or signage right here. Like so this could be just like on the glass or something. I haven't really put major thought into that one yet. So these are information signs. The main one at the top is what was established in the wayfinding strategy. So that one is again it's quite a bit more money than these more simple placards, but we still need the something for simple placards where we would put up like maps for example. But I was just trying to tie in some of the elements of the wayfinding strategy with the wood and some metal components to make sure there's consistency and look overall.
So this kiosk is the one that's outside. And it acts also as a bench.
And this here is the digital sign. We, depending on budgets, I wouldn't mind having it a little bit more, like the same kind of informational signage as the other ones with a bit more, but, wood and metal components, but that depends on cost if we want to expand a bit more.
So if you're unaware, we're partnering with Crime Stoppers who received some funding for a digital sign. And so some suggestions about maybe putting it where the drought sign is currently on the way up Oak Street. The drought level sign, and this would be an information only sign. This would be for emergency situations. This would be like for Crime Stoppers to post things. This would be really informational. It wouldn't be about programs or advertising. It would be purely, you know, community level information sharing.
Where?
So when you go up Vote Street, there's that old drought sign right before the spine lot. Right before grass lines.
Yeah, it's forestry.
So this would be like information center paper right now on the page.
This would be like. Again, drought levels, if Crime Stoppers is looking to reach out to people or put something up there, this would be important council meeting. Hey, we have a, you know. This thing happening, please come. It would be very much informational. Water restrictions, that sort of stuff. We wouldn't use it for advertising or necessarily even program advertising. We would use it more for really big important information.
But like Kim has that page in the Merritt
Yeah.
Herald, so all that type of information would
Much
be
of it,
transferred.
yeah, much of it
Okay,
transferred.
perfect,
And it would look similar, right? Like
Yeah,
it's
yeah.
very beautiful.
perfect.
Would we have to stop?
Microphone.
Advertising?
Microphone.
Would we stop advertising in the paper then? No. So it's not saving us any money.
It's actually costs.
Yeah.
There are limitations to what can be posted on it. So. Okay, so continuing on, where is the? There we go. Okay. All right, so official signage, anything about like rules, like no parking and that sort of thing. We want to use the City Crest logo and not the friendly Merit logo. So anything official should be a little bit more like that. And then what rural signage again doesn't need to be large like that. It can just be a small sign on a simple post. So yeah, large items should be meant like for more advertising and come here and this is us or welcome kind of thing, and rules should kind of be a smaller secondary item. And then also in the wayfinding strategy, they had this style of signage. But when I was looking closer at the colors in this versus the colors in our flag, our registered flag, here, I'll just skip to the next one. In 1984, our colors were just simply yellow and green. There was nothing defined, no specific color. There was no color numbers at that time. And then in 2005, we registered the flag with a gold and a dark green. So really, we should have been, since 2005, operating with a gold and dark green as our official colors. So looking back at this wayfinding signage, it should have been more like the center one. If you wanted to follow our official colors at the time, they would have been the gold and the dark green, kind of like this middle one. The one on the right, I just wanted to try this out. The one where it's kind of a black and gold. Black is still within our branding colors, and it would tie with the metal and the wood a little more than, it wouldn't clash quite as much with the green with the wood and the black. So that would be my preference. But
It does look brown from here. That's what I thought was brown.
yeah, warm black maybe. Yeah.
That's a black.
Yeah, different monitors show differently. So we is open for discussion is things like, you know, road signs, like for example, this one says Belshaw Street where you have yellow writing on green. And then other streets are like black writing on white. And then there's the down at the bottom, that's a provincial, the DeWolf Way, Belshaw Avenue, that's the provincial signage and colors. So we might want to put some thought into whether or not, what do we want our street signs to be? Because, you know, most of them are probably white and black, and there are a few that have been changed to green and yellow. I would probably make everything all black and white like the previous signs, and reserve like special maybe in reverse, black with white writing for special areas like the downtown commercial market district or whatever we call it. Or the other option is just to stick with the standard provincial colors
So
on road signage.
I think the green and yellow are meant to be the downtown core. I think that's particularly, as that's in front of everybody, it's mostly in the
But that's
flats, kind of this area.
the gasoline alley.
Oh, that's the green and, oh yeah, Belshaw,
Mhm.
thank you. Which is interesting because on that side it says Belshaw Avenue and that side it says Belshaw Street.
And then yeah, there are, yeah, it's used kind of haphazardly, not
Oh, okay.
no specific area. So I think maybe we want to take a closer look at when and where we would use a different signage, or even if we want to bother with street signs and just use wayfinding for the larger sign.
Councilor Regan.
Thank you. I just wanted to know, have you done any investigations into, say, what perhaps people notice, which colors they notice the most and which ones they don't? Because there's a lot of colorblind people out there. I don't know that much about color recognition. However, there's got to be something that people would be more attracted to. So if you want to go with the provincial colors, I would say they're probably more in tune with provincial colors as opposed to trying to change something.
Yeah, I think for street signs. And so I think we were sort of sticking with this branding guide that was passed in 2020. So the colors related to the branding guide, although they're not exactly the same as the flag colors because they're actually more closely related to the 2025 flag colors. Or sorry, the 2005 flag colors versus the 1984 flag colors.
Yeah, and the branding guide, I would like to update and include our proper flag colors, and then maybe align our branding guide colors a little bit more closely with the flag colors, because they kind of just compete with each other. So yeah.
But I think definitely for some of those things like street signs, it's really important for people to be able to no matter, and I think that's why they're often black and white. Or black or blue and white sort of things, like because it's meant to be very visible on the white background.
Councilor Sherman.
We're reading something like that.
I really like your designs. I would prefer instead of the wood that you did use a composite because of the weather conditions. And I like the idea of the backlit and the copper roof and the solar and everything. I think you've done a great job on that, and I think once we get them all up, it'll really make a big difference.
Yeah.
But job well done.
Thanks.
And I think we're looking at, one of the other things we're
Microphone.
looking at is,
Microphone.
oh, sorry. God, I didn't have it on. One of the things that we're looking at is on the current wayfinding signage, which we'll see this evening. They're solid pieces, so you know, there's like 3 or 4 things listed. But I have noticed that on the sign that's between here and the Arts Council building, it says it's a 4-minute walk to the Arts Council. Or to the art gallery. So between here and the Arts Council building where the gallery is not in fact a 4-minute walk. And some of the signs have distance and some of them have time. So we might want to, and again, if we talk about naming rights, we might need some stuff where we can take something off and not have to replace the whole sign. We only want to replace that. Like one strip of the sign or whatever. So just thinking about how that might look redesign wise. the sports complex one, we were really having fun with, because we've been trying to kind of think about how to get people to recognize that they can use the parking lot outside the civic center, like across the road, for Centennials games and things like that, to help with traffic, busyness of traffic, and kind of branding more of a civic complex, where that includes the visitor center and Bailey House, the curling rink, the arena, the pool here and the civic center, and being more of a complex to try and get people to recognize that the whole thing, they could park over here and not have to wait 20 minutes to get out of the dead end.
Yeah, I can also add a map, like kind of like a floor plan, so to speak, for the various parking lots and that into the signage.
Yeah, so we're just playing around with it and having fun.
Excellent.
But so I guess the question is, do people think we're on the right direction? Should Kim carry on in this direction? Is this appealing to people?
Carry on.
Excuse me.
Yep.
We're going back to the 2005 registered flag colors.
We'll propose a set of color branding colors based on that, and then council can make a decision.
Okay.
So I think the
Okay,
consensus is to continue on as you're continuing on, good designs. Yeah, I think it looks good. I think,
So the only one that's super time sensitive for us is the electronic sign, because their funding, they need to get that sign purchased and operational before the end of the calendar year.
yeah, so,
So if everybody's happy with that particular
move.
one,
yeah, let's.
we'll start looking at materials and design. So I think Kim and Dave have been working on that. And again, looking at solar as an option, we're very excited about that option as well.
So the entry on votes log sign up there,
Mhm.
we own that?
Yeah.
Was that built in conjunction with Walk Stars and then they handed it over, or how did that go?
I don't know, but if it's
Okay.
built on public land, it belongs to the
Okay.
city unless it's otherwise.
So we're not gonna
paid
have
for.
to do any,
I mean, we should have a conversation with them, but I think ultimately
Okay.
it's pretty dated looking.
yeah, well, yeah, it's had its day.
So we're trying to keep sort of that small town resource feel with a little bit of a hip, you want to move here kind of vibe.
Yep. Ooh. Ooh.
So yeah, so the next part of the program is we will head out. You'll see most of our senior team is here because each of them will be looking at how this will impact their departments in regards to infrastructure and economic development and even housing. Because, you know, we've been talking about infill and upfill. I might have just made that up, upfill. So yeah, so we'll go and have a bit of a wander. Staff will be taking notes. We'll try and keep it a bit, so we're, you know, similar to where we will try and keep not too many people speaking at the same time. So we'll move over to Spirit Square. We'll talk about some ideas that have come up in various conversations. And then sort of how to keep moving those design features that align with our signage into streetscaping kind of activities.
Let's go.
All right, let's go.
Hot dang, we're back. So, not sure what the rest of the agenda is. Do we have anything else? So
So the next steps is we'll engage a consultant to start doing some conceptual work. In the interim, if you have some like, whoa, I really think this is a good idea, or can we do this with the signage? Just see Kim or myself. So Kim's working on the signage part, and I'll kind of keep a running list of landscape and streetscaping features that we want to talk about with the consultants. So either email or come in and have a visit with us about that. If you have something that comes in, you're like, oh, I saw this thing, you know, I'm terrible. I walk around now in other communities and I'm like, oh, I like that. So feel free to share anything you see out there that you like the look of. And we'll see if we can kind of have a running list. And also think about those legislated bylaw type changes that we can make to, you know, change how the downtown is going to be developed, because that'll be part of the work Pranesh is doing with the OCP.
Excellent. Anything from council?
I'd like to say happy birthday to my son, James. He's 14 today. Thank you.
Oh, he'll be popular at school tomorrow. That's Richard.
I was also gonna say, since she said happy birthday, I'm looking down at Miss Mullen over there, whose birthday's tomorrow. So
Oh, happy birthday. We'll have to have Patrick come by for a visit. So anyways, anything else from council? Thank you all. Thank you for your time, everyone. And if you have some ideas, I like this. Thank you. This is a good thing to have. So thank you very much. And it's good to go with that. So we are adjourned.